It is July 8th, or is it July 6th? It's the second time that I'm on today. And I just got a message about my video in the live that I did on Friday. The one that was showing you guys about the trade floor that was all about Sirius B, talking about 1975. And YouTube completely took it down. And this is the first time that they've done this. They completely took it down. Now, the reason is that it's mismedical information. It's mismedical information. The video that I said, the new physics, and see, even the dog's freaking out. What? 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 Stop. Hold on just a minute. What? Stop. But these are alpha and aloha codes that we just undid. Now, I'm following my guidance to be here right now. I wasn't planning on it. I didn't think I was going to because of just what's going on and what happened and what is still transpiring and maneuvering through the system. Because realize too that Google and the infrastructure that was aligning to your reality and the codes and how it was all being printed down here is gonna line up whether we're on here telling you about it or not. So if you watch this stage, if you watch me and you know that I'm telling the truth, you really should press your bell. And if you see me, come on and get the information because, and just if for any reason, any of us, if I get turned off or whatever, you know other ways to look me up and to find me and keep looking. Okay, just that's the one thing I'm saying right now. Just there's two timelines that I know are forming, and there's a reason that I'm on connected into this energy field on this station with you right now. Now, I want to know who is the medical examiner and the physics practitioner on the board at YouTube. Number one. Number two, you're owned by Disney, Paramount. I just went and looked it up. And you opened on Valentine's Day. Now, that is funny because Valentine's Day, that links up to the Valentine's Day Massacre. That link. Now, see, you have to understand that I've been involved with the development of technology since the development of technology on this planet. I was in high-end Fortune 100 business for 24 years. Through the building and architecture, this is how I know what I'm telling you. Now, all of a sudden, Google opens up in February 14th, 2005, and they have instant success. And within a year, it's getting bought by Google. Now, one of the guys' names, Jaw, like literally, okay, well, that some of the codes that we just undid were Aloha Alpha. Well, that's Lockjaw. Realize that Hoover Dam is kind of like from one perception, this is all dealing with teeth and dentistry and the D alpha flip from an angle. Because if you keep going this direction, then it's going to go into the teeth. You don't have to go through the teeth, but whenever you're an entity that doesn't have the structure of human DNA, that's where it's going to come in. This is why all of us started breaking teeth. It's also why they were using our teeth in order to print shit. Because the blood, that's what I'm saying to everybody else too, you know, that was doing all this blood magic and whatever the f balls, and everyone realized like we don't know any of this dark ass shit. We only have to freaking learn it and get a click. We're shown exactly the pieces that we need to see in order to put it all together. Because from our perspective, it's all insanity to begin with. Because we come from complete balance, and all we know to do, and all we're made to do, and all the government made us to do, All the government that paid billions of dollars to do all this to all of y'all, to do it to us. Now, the reason that I even came back on here, because I'm so tired of coming on here and being like the bearer of bad Akashic information that nobody freaking knows, but I'm the only one who can explain it, which is what it is. And then, you know, I'm just done. And this is why I'm so freaking protected. But understand that like everybody is having to figure out how to, because that protection on me didn't just come. I didn't just wake up one morning in 2000. None of us did. None of us did. None of us did. We didn't just wake up protected. We were. We were protected in a much higher bubble, but it didn't feel like it coming. I mean, it did not feel like it coming through it, because you have to kind of take back your energetic in each clearing of each dimension. And we're talking about binary codes to something. And this is the quantum leap that they don't want you to know about, that this is what we're over here for the first time freaking doing, made by the government to do it, except this time we connected back far enough before the government could hook in, and we're taking the whole goddamn thing back, whether or not it's going live on your YouTube feed or not. Because the more that they grid this down, the more it's going to go live on your big screen. Because that's how they're putting it on this screen. Now, the reason that I even came on here is because of the wolf, because this is all about the wolf. And that's why my mind was, because this is the most important part. Because, I mean, I'm the only reason that we were here was and all this had to happen was to reconnect all of the lines that blew up and then had to become one to sustain the human race. And period, dot. The rest of it is just whatever, and whatever little tantrums everybody wants to have, but it is what it is. So, you know, that link from the reptilian, okay, which understand that throughout human time, you know, this is how the human body, this is how we're connected, this is how all the things that everybody wants, flying cars, all these things that happen, the entire human race makes that happen. Now, you don't need the car. You're in a way, and I don't know how exactly, because this is, our minds have been so limited, but this is why others can get away with it so easily, because all of it exists. But in an alternate dimension, when it's unconsciously powered, it takes a lot of money and a lot of metal, and you know, and this even goes back to Kali. In the alternate dimension, none of that is needed, because the collective knows that we're powering it, and we choose to power it. And that's why when you get on the plane, it flies. Well, this is why planes are more falling out of the sky, and this is why they're falling out of the sky. This is why they're not running 737, 747, because if you get the consciousness on that plane that outweighs the plane, it will take the whole thing. And if your consciousness is to get on a plane and then energetically tie it to something else on a big freaking network setup at an ascension gate. Because I mean, even what we saw work out at DFW, that's not even it. That's not the event. That's just showing us that an event is going down somewhere else that hasn't quite showed up yet. You follow? Because it's all happening in reality through the machine. Everything's live. This is why there is no prediction. And the only reason that us as a collective are having to set up these illusions and things in order to get out, and the ancestors have shown us how to do this stuff, and have given us the power to do it, is because that's how you did it. And we've got to get out, and we have and then, I mean, everybody's gonna, you when you get out of a dark spell, you see every bit of it. You can't cover it up. It's impossible. Thunder. But the wolf, see, because this was all these, because I'm not here to judge, and and also, you know, this is, and this for beings like me with the consciousness like what I'm talking about, the hardest thing is to us, these lines are all the same anyway, so it confused, like there is no like to us, we understand that this is the power, this is the ancestors of the wolves, and this is what their gift is, this is the ancestors of this, and this is what their gift is. But from where we come from, it all worked together in one unison, and we had no idea. I mean, it's still, there's too many to count how many times it got split out and 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 split out, and even to Mayan, and because this is where all this originally started with jumping through the crescent moon portals and all that stuff, because it all goes to a moon. But this was a moon raw, and everything in a moon. So then but the moon isn't what you think it is, and it wasn't what you thought it was, and then because you didn't know what it was, it became something way worse. But the moon is really the plasma and the waves and the whole freaking vibe and the whole dimension of the planet, and how the water's running through your body and how the salt's running through the channels and how the dams and everything work down here is all running through an ancient infrastructure out in space on all sides of it as it's forming in the seed planet, which is what Ki is. Ki forms space-time for the whole freaking thing. That's why Ki's on. All the keys are on. So how this leads back to wolf is because in a way, and if in from like Joseph and the Amazing Dreamcoat and the quilt and the cosmic quilt and all these types of moon mansions and all that stuff, and all those consciousnesses that were formed from the Esso, and that means from even the making of the oil, like since the 1800s, you know, even all the consciousness and lines that have formed over the past couple of hundred years that now think that they're in charge because they don't remember that they got taken over 200. I mean, we got taken over and they got put in control of us 200 years ago, but we actually know who took over them, and they ain't gonna like who took over. You see what I'm saying? Because that's how it was happening down here. But that created so many timelines in that elemental formation, because it was forming oil, it was forming sedation, it was because you can't if oil is your energy source, and you can only form oil by keeping everything still and sucking the life out of it. That's why it's not a sustainable resource. Thunder. But what the wolf, and see, this was even the whole thing with the white wolf and the white calf woman, you know, which that all did go down in Anaheim. The rainbow prophecy from some of our perspectives down here was freedom, but when the rainbow came, freedom never came. Well, that's because on the other perspective, rainbow prophecy was everything's in color, now we can get down and take over the human race. From another perspective, everything is it's all codes. I can put together the codes and I can form physics and science from it, and I mean, there's the last 200 years, 400 years, this is what happened, because the consciousness was coming in only through the lower lines of understanding how the energy connection is available. Because when the human understands that the human is connected to the rest of the humans and we're forming energy, oh, lights on, trust. Because that's when we figured that out. That's why they started shutting us all up. What the physicists and what they saw, they just had the information of what we did over here. We have all the knowledge in the books and the physics that aligned it up to this cosmos, and we have everybody that worked with me, every single one of us over here risked our lives and everything over here, whether somebody came against me or not. In one dimension, they risked something. Even if they made a mistake, it don't matter. Original, and I mean, that's a wolf, that's a white wolf. Original intention, original in contracts, original, that's the coat. Original contracts, original intention of why grandpa did it. I don't care what he had to do. Why did he do it? Because now it don't matter. The energy's there. The only thing the Masons wanted, and they wanted to remember how to do it, to replicate it. No. That isn't the point. The point is now, what was the intention of the whole thing? Because that's all that freaking matters, because the rest of it was held in a, and this is where it's going to shock us, what the pure intention of some of the organizations and things that maybe we call evil, and then what's going to shock us, and what are the ones that supposedly aren't evil that were the worst. Wolf. Realize that it got this bad because you're talking about centuries of Billy the Kids. You're talking about centuries of all of us, you know, that were stuck. This was happening over and over again, and we were getting hunted down, and everybody was trying. We were trying to stop it over and over and over again. They knew we'd pop up. They knew where we were going to come in at. See, because that goes back to that wolf line. But if you understand how that wolf thing works now, see, and this is what I just kind of got a glimpse of, that I just now understand. And this was why I had to come on here and talk about this, because this is Lyra 3 and Trinity, and merging all these codes together, and they come from a vampiric energy source, and then the other comes from what you would call a witch source, but that's only because, whether you know it or not, if you're in those lines, you're processing energy through your body. It's either being done for you or you're controlling it. And then and the blood in the middle from Vega, because that kind of wraps it up. Because if you don't got right, because you're not having, this isn't coming through your teeth anymore. It's hitting it. It's an energy frequency that changed the frequency of your core in whatever way it needed to be adjusted to hold it. Each of those but the wolves, see, the wolves, and this is so interesting too, because this is the subconscious, right? Because the wolves, think about the wolves, the crescent. Now, we broke the curse on the crescent wolves. We did. I've been talking about this. The other thing, there was a tribe coming in from Gibbs, but the Gibbs tribe was coming in from the anchor on the Gibbs meteor. Well, see, I have the Genzel meteor. And I believe that is that sunspot that's coming in on the bottom right now. It looks like that mole on my ankle, but it's connected to the original Castor and Pollux lineup to get us the fuck out of here. So the wolf lines were the changeling lines, because realize the and see, so many of y'all have wolf lines and you don't know, and this is why you were so susceptible. Because if you have Indian, Cherokee, you know, because there's the red root race is either going to end up forming a mammal, an ape, a human. But you're talking about now the etheric body twist off And so you've got a version of an etheric body in one side and the other in the other. And what's making it change is the rotation of the moon and the rotation of the current and the connection to another dimension on the rotation, no matter whatever it is. This is why definitely go look, whatever your birthday is, go look and see what the moon was, because whatever that is, that's whenever, no matter your correct rotation is lined up. So there were tribes that were coming in. Well, each one of those tribes, if you will, has one of these wolf coats on. And these wolf but these wolf coats are all tied to these different elder wolf alphas, you know. Now, here, the interesting thing is that for the most part, the wolf lines were here to rid black magic because they were magical beings, because magic is what formed them. And I believe that a lot of the like spider senses that we get whenever our ears are ringing, or whenever we just whenever we get spidey senses, that's what it is. It's coming from that root, and realize it doesn't. If you have dragon consciousness, then you're even more susceptible because yours is even higher. And what I'm saying is you got a bunch of wolves controlling your energy, maybe. Because we're talking about etheric bodies and how they're stretched and how big they are and how much they hold. But this wolf line, when it came to the human DNA and how things were done with the moon and everything down here, became like a changeling thing. This is the skinwalkers thing as well, because it had happened for so long. And so, and what nobody realized is that is it ready? Okay, give me 5 minutes. That our souls were even trapped trying to get back in, because that's what the whole thing was set up in order to do. So realize it too, Atlantis, that what we proved throughout this, because we're walking the whole thing. I mean, and as I go make this trip and do what I need to do, each little move, we're seeing how the whole thing was webbed up tighter and tighter. And as each one of y'all are getting more information, as each one of y'all are uncovering each little bit, then because it's all being undone right now at the same time, because there's no serious sea to hold up a flow. It's all going into a higher reality current. And the last thing I want to show y'all, I don't know if I can pull this down. That right after this all happened, and this is what I saw, because realize that too, in the higher etherics, we are on a big star and we're traveling through space and we're looking for the new earth, because we've already manifested it. We got flipped out, turned around, we manifested it. We're lining up. All of us that are in the ship of it are guiding it. It's fixing to storm. I'm fixing to see this. We're going to pick up the ship. So when oh wow. So whenever it comes through the gate, we're pulling in, right? Well, what I saw in my third eye was that lining up. Eyes on a big ship. We look like Athena. Woo, on this huge ship, and it was like looking. And then all of a sudden I saw something line up. And then I went into a black hole. But I knew that we were just blowing it up. And then sure enough, as soon as we blew up that little black hole, I saw it looked like a flame. And whenever I focused in on the flame, then the flame took over the black hole and blew the whole thing up. And then I saw a mountain. And then the mountain became a real mountain, but it was going that direction. So the mountain was coming up like this. And but I couldn't really tell it was a mountain yet. It was just energy flow, because it was going like this. because the whole rest of the scene blew up. And then it was I've got notes over here to show, because it was like a plasma field. I think we came into a moon realm or something, because it was like a plasma field, and it was and as we entered that gate, that's when I saw the mountain. And the mountain was coming. If my head's the mountain was coming like this, and it was coming like this, and then it got right here, and then it was trying to sink, and I was like, nope, you're coming up. And I freaking pushed it up, and it went all the way up like this, and then it stayed. But then I saw water coming up, and then you could only see this much of the mountain, but it was all the way underneath. It's storming. I'm going to get the ship. We're protected in all ways, and there ain't nothing that can stop us now. Ain't no stopping us now. We're on the move. Ain't no stopping us now. We've got the groove. I'll look at that comment later. Send a message on connect at cohue32.com if you think that we can help you. Connect at cohue32.com.